Happy Thursday. So, as many of you know, I was at Google and got me a little cool name tag from Google. It was honestly one of the most exciting and cool experience I've ever been a part of. As all of you know, Google is like an insane company. It's headquartered in Mountain View, California, and they have 30,000 employees in that area, in the Mountain View area, Sunnyvale, and in the San Francisco area. So those of you who may know Silicon Valley, they are the home of some of the most storied companies in the world, whether it's Apple, whether it's Yahoo, whether it's Uber. I mean, the list is endless. So I'm just going to go over 5 things I've learned. I mean, I'll share a little bit about the whole experience. I mean, if you ever have a chance to go to Google, you have to go because it is a privilege and an honor to go. I will be posting the Talks at Google keynote in about a week because they record all the speeches. And Talks at Google is like their own internal TED Talks. TED Talks are one of the most prestigious speeches in the world, and Talks at Google's are their internal TED Talks. So I'm going to just walk you through the whole experience where I drove there from my aunt and uncle's place in San Jose yesterday. The speech is at 1. I got there about 11:30. And when I got there, you already know as soon as you get onto the campus how different it is. First is, well, they have valet parking. So if you work there, you have valet parking every day. And they're like, well, there's not enough spaces. I'm like, yeah, but they have valet parking. Thankfully, I had my own spot. So they had a little makeshift sign, and Christopher Kai had his own spot at Google headquarters. So that was really exciting. And so as soon as I got there, I'm just circling around. There's just like these vast, very massive buildings. And when you get there, it just looks like any typical office. But as soon as you step out of your car and you walk to the lobby, I was at the 1900 building. There's different buildings there. And you immediately see the difference between Google and other places. Literally, when you walk in, you have this really big prominent sign, Google, a lot of colorful things going on, and there's a kiosk there. Just like to go to the airport, there's a kiosk where you check in. Well, they have a kiosk for you to check in. And so I checked in, typed in my name, first name and last name. As soon as you press send, that gets sent to the person that is at Google, your contact. And then when that person gets the response, they come down to the lobby and they just print out a pass, which is this pass that I got. So the cool thing is we got there early, so we had a chance to go to lunch. Oftentimes people have heard about how many benefits that the Googlers, they call them Googlers, get. And my gracious host, Elaine, who hosted me there, was just very hospitable, very welcoming. And so we had a tour of the facilities. So again, in the lobby area, you have the cool Google sign where you can check it out on my Facebook page. And then there's the other side lobby area where they have like a bicycle rack. You have soda, you have different types of refreshments that you can partake in. And then there's different cafes and kitchens all across the campus. They call it the Googleplex. And I had a chance to walk around the Googleplex with my cousin and my good friend Aaron Berger, who both of them came up to see me. And it's pretty much like a college campus with billions of dollars invested in the college campus. I mean, you have literally a volleyball court on the campus. You have a volleyball court. And there is a swimming pool. It's one of those endless or infinity pools where it's only like in a vertical line and you just jump into the pool and you're just swimming. And when I asked Elaine, hey, so what are some of the unique benefits of working at Google? And she almost kind of smirked and laughed because, I mean, they literally have so much for them. And let's begin with the first lesson about Google, what you should learn. My birthday is coming up in 2 days, but let me just give a first shout out to people that are on the call right now on the Facebook Live. So LaJuan, thanks for watching. Jorge David, sign off my program. You're missing out, buddy. Keon, thanks for coming. Keon's an SEO guy, does websites. Definitely look out for him. Nathan, thanks for coming. We missed the call way back when. Fatima, thanks for watching. Nanar, what's up from Cyprus? If you ever want a DJ from Cyprus, Nanar has an awesome vibe. I'm sure she'd make your party awesome. Alaran, where are you guys from? Madeline, where are you from? and Nathan. Awesome. So thanks so much for joining in. Again, I'm here going to share 5 specific lessons on what I learned at Google. And I do this often in my Facebook Lives, but especially now because my birthday's in 2 days. And what I've been doing for over 10 years now is I look back on the last year. So for the last 3 weeks of the year, I look back on the last year and say, what did I do well? What did I not do so well? And what do I want to do better? So what did I do well? What did I not do so well? And what do I want to do better? Too many of us in life, we're just busy. I call it the bad attitude. B stands for bored, A stands for aimless, D stands for distracted. So we're bored, aimless, and distracted, so we keep busy so that we can feel better about ourselves. But that's like working hard. That's like going to McDonald's and working at McDonald's and being a burger flipper. No disrespect for people that flip burgers. Hopefully they are in a transitional job, but in life you want to progress. You want to accelerate. You want to, as what I call, aim higher. So going back to my whole analogy, bad, many people are either bored, aimless, or distracted. So when you take time to step back, take time to reflect, take time to say, okay, I hear your point, Chris. We have 3 weeks and 2 days left. And like I said, my birthday is on Saturday, so I always reflect back on my last year. I write it down on my journal because when you write things down, it changes how your mind processes things as opposed to when you're typing on the computer. And this is based on studies and science, so make sure you write things down when you want to think more deeply. But I really encourage you to look back on this last year and really look at, what did you do well? What did you not do so well? And what do you want to do better? And by going to Google yesterday and speaking there, it really gave me an inspiring perspective on what I can do better. But in terms of like what I do in the last year, you can look in the background. That's actually a calendar I literally plaster onto my home office. And I literally have the whole year mapped out. So I have some of the key keynotes that I'm doing, some of the key events that I'm doing. So it just allows you to see macro what's going on because as Einstein once said, your imagination is more important than knowledge because your imagination is the preview of your life's coming attractions. So very soon I'm going to be changing that calendar up to 2017, but I really encourage you to look back on your year and don't judge, don't be judgmental, but just look back on your year and see the things that you did well, see the things that you did not do so well, and see the things that you want to do better. Because if you're constantly busy, and having that what I call bad attitude, and bad stands for bored, aimless, or distracted, especially the distracted because we're always on our smartphones like I am now, but hopefully I'm adding some value. If you're always in this bad attitude, you're never going to do what you are destined to do. You're never going to aim high in your life, whether in your personal life, professional life, or philanthropic. As many of you know, I wrote this book called Big Game Hunting. Inc. magazine has referred to me as the billionaire networker. It's about networking with billionaires, executives, and celebrities. It's really about connections and community. It's really about relationships because the best way to change your life is to change relationships. So I'm going to go over 5 specific things I learned from speaking at Google yesterday. And as I was telling you before, I was walking through what they call the Googleplex, and Elaine, my gracious host, was just saying how they have all these benefits. Like they have valet parking for one. They have a volleyball court. They have an infinity pool. They have not an infinity pool, but one of those whatever pools. It's like a vertical pool. They also have the laundry services that they pay for. Well, actually, I don't know if they pay for. If you want to get a haircut, they bring the haircut person to you. They have food trucks there. They have masseuse. And so they have all these different things, which is just quite insane. And so I thought, you know what? They're very smart in doing that. But essentially what they're doing, and this is the first lesson I'm going to share, which is this. The first lesson is they pretty much remove all the irritations and annoyances that us human beings have. Meaning, oh, I'm hungry. Well, we'll feed you. Oh, I'm tired. Well, we'll give you a place to have a massage. Oh, I need to eat, so the food trucks are there. Oh, my clothes is dirty. Oh, I need to exercise. So all these things are placed there, and so it allows them to be very productive. And that's the first point. In your life, you want to remove the things that are unnecessary and useless. You want to remove the things and the activities, the people, the activities, the thoughts in your mind, and the things that you spend time maintaining if you really want to be productive like Google. For instance, in my GPS program, the Gifted Professional Speaker Program, I literally codified what I've learned in 15 years as a professional speaker and speaking to over a global audience from 30 countries with 1,000 speeches, right? So going back to the Google analogy of being productive, I oftentimes don't respond to my text messages and emails very expeditiously. Sometimes my team does, but sometimes they're supporting myself. But the point is, my productivity is giving speeches, scaling my business program in terms of this online training program, and helping my clients. And so all of my thoughts are focused on how can I remove all the unnecessary things, including what to wear. There's something called the decision fatigue, and you can look it up, decision fatigue. This is why President Obama or Mark Zuckerberg wears the same outfits all the time. Because fundamentally, we're human beings that we always have all these decisions to make. And so decision fatigue is our brain isn't really that much different from 50,000 years ago when we were just hunting and gathering. And so when Obama, whether you like him or not, he wears the same two different colored types of suit. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same t-shirt most of the time. Me, you'll notice, I usually wear this shirt because it's a light blue and another blue shirt. But the point I'm getting at is like, I try to minimize the things I need to think about. If I go to restaurants, I'll just ask the waiter, hey, what do you recommend here? And what are some of the more favorite dishes? So I don't have to think about things because your brain capacity slowly declines as you get more tired throughout the day. So that's why it's called decision fatigue. So what Google does is they remove a lot of these fatigue decisions to allow these programmers, to allow their employees to really focus on the productivity that they are there for. So the first lesson I want to encourage you to do more of in 2017 as you reflect on this year is to focus on what productivity is for you and to remove all these annoyances, these distractions, these aimless things you go about. So if Americans spend 5 hours on TV, well, watch less TV or get rid of it. I don't have a TV. If Americans spend 4.7 hours on social media, well, social media, oftentimes it's part of our business, but even that, be selective on how you spend your social media. Are you spending your time going through all these comments and whatnot if it doesn't add value to your life or to your business? So just be mindful that in Google's case, they focus on productivity. They remove all these distractions to the point where, again, I don't know where to find park my car. Well, they're going to valet. I want to exercise. Well, they have a volleyball court. I want to get something to drink. Well, I'm going to give you something to drink. I want to have a little back rub. They have a masseuse there, and they have a haircut service there. So it's just so crazy. And then I've heard that they have buses that bus the people from the city to Mountain View, which is in the heart of Silicon Valley. So the first lesson I have for you is be more productive by pushing away all the unnecessary waste of time things that you do. We only have 3 weeks left of the year, so make sure that you are mindful about how you spend your time. Reed Barrett, thanks so much for watching. Madeline, you're from Portland. Nice, awesome. I love Portland. It's so beautiful and green there. Laura, thanks so much for watching. Frank, can't wait to read it. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe my book. Giselle, thanks so much for watching. Laura, cool. So please do a thumbs up and hearts if you like these Facebook Lives because I really want to add value to your life. I'm just so inspired whenever I go to speak. And yesterday I spoke at Google, which is one of the greatest honors, to be able to speak at one of the biggest and most innovative companies in the world. So the first lesson I'm sharing with you is how do you be more productive? You be more productive. Thanks so much for the hearts, Frank. And thumbs up. You be more productive by just removing the things in your life, whether it's your thoughts, whether it's the people, whether it's the experiences you do and the possessions you have, because in Google's case, they allow their employees to be as productive as possible because they have all these ancillary benefits. And it really felt like I was on a college campus at like MIT, a lot of foreigners there or a lot of ethnic Americans because they're really bright engineering dudes. And it was just fun. It was really interesting to see. And I couldn't really take that many pictures inside because the security cameras were all over the place. Even though you saw in my Facebook timeline, I kind of snuck a few views there. But the first lesson is productivity. And so please write down in the comment if that's helpful. Productivity is the first lesson I learned from Google. This live Facebook chat is all about how I can help you be like Google in 2017. My birthday is coming up in 2 days, and I like to reflect. If you're constantly moving forward, you're constantly just busy, which is the whole catchphrase for Westerners, Americans especially, where they're always so busy. But what are you busy doing? Because most people have a bad attitude. They're bored, aimless, and distracted. So you want to be more focused, have a direction, and really be intense and purposeful in what you do. And the best way to do that, according to Google, or what I've learned there, is be productive with what you feel is the most important thing in your life. Second point is this. The engineers, they literally have it mandated that they have to hire at least 50% of their employees as engineers. And you'll see the people there, the engineers, I mean, not to stereotype, but they're not going to be in some GQ magazine. Oh, maybe they'll be in GQ. I mean, actually, Elon Musk is one of the smartest guys in the world, and he could be in the GQ magazine. The point I'm getting at is they're not hired for their looks. I mean, they're just from really bright people, and they're engineers. And engineers, they have a term called reverse engineering. So you see a problem, you reverse engineer it, and you just look at the problem as it is. They don't attach emotions to the problem. And this is one of the most important things you will ever learn in life. If you attach your emotions to a problem, you're never going to be truly successful and reach to the solution clearly, because as soon as you interject emotion, you're immediately being biased and you can't see it clearly. Emotion is good to be passionate about something, but if you want to have a solution to a problem, you have to objectively look at the problem. And so Google does a great job of hiring at least 50% of their staff as engineers, because as engineers, they look at the problem in a systematized way. They don't look at it as an emotional way. It's like, oh, I love this. It's more of like, well, this is the solution we want to do. This is the sum of the steps we're going to create as a solution for the problem. And so they actually always have at least 50% of their employees as engineers, because sometimes engineers don't like salespeople or marketing people because they're like, oh, they're the fluff. But the frank reality is, if you only have the engineer like the Wozniak, the computer guy like Wozniak, but if you don't have the Steve Jobs, to be honest, you don't have a company. So the reality is, Google is smart enough to have the engineers, but then they hired on a guy like Eric Schmidt, who I'm going to share a little bit more about him later on, where he wrote this book called How Google Works. He actually was in the office there, not at my speech, so bad on you, Eric Schmidt. You missed the most amazing speech of your life in your building. So next time, check out my speech, Eric Schmidt. I don't care how many billions of dollars you're worth. So my point is, learn to be more like an engineer. Elon Musk always talks about how you learn from the first principles of physics, where you literally break down certain elements. So in his example, he's like, well, if you want to create a battery for a electric car, you might think that it costs this much, because if you go to the manufacturer and they say, well, this battery costs $100. But when you go to the first principles of physics, he's like saying, well, the battery from the manufacturer might cost $100, but if you break down what's in the battery, it might be certain specific chemicals, and these chemicals cost this specific amount. So even though the manufacturer is quoting me this, I'm going to go back and learn from the first principles of physics and go way back and just look at the basic elements. Same analogy with Starbucks, for instance. If it costs you $3, $4, $5 to buy a venti, cafe, cappuccino, whatever it might be, because I don't drink coffee. But if you literally look at, well, if you reverse the equation back and you look at, okay, how much did it cost for the farmer to actually make the coffee bean? It probably cost a few cents. And so from a few cents, it becomes $3.50. But the point I'm getting at is, reverse engineer whatever you're doing. Let's say with my program, the GPS program, where it's called the Gifted Professional Speaking Program. And it's called that because every one of you has a gift. And if you don't share your gift with the world, you're literally putting that seed of magic in your hand, and you're not planting it. So the way I reverse engineer my program is, people keep asking me, hey Chris, you go to Google, you go to a US Consulate event, you go to Atlanta, you go to all these cool places in the world to speak. That's why I teach you how to speak to speak and get paid $10,000 a speech. But going back to the analogy of Google and being an engineer, because I'm more of a creative, idealist business guy, and sometimes I have to think more like an engineer. So the way I reverse engineer my program is, well, if you want to be a speaker, I'm going to think about the 5 steps you need. Why are you the person to be the best person to share this message? What are you going to talk about? Who are your clients? Where do you find them? And most importantly, how do you pitch them? How do you promote them? How do you promote yourself? And so that's my reverse engineering, where you can't realistically get to your goals just because you have this desire, just because you have this inspiration, just because you have this motivation. You need the methodology, you need the strategy, you need the step-by-step. And so Google is so precise by looking at the problems as what it is. Whether it was search engine, whether it's with Google cars, whether it's Google glasses. I'll share a little story about Google glasses later on. But in your life, start thinking like an engineer. Remove your emotions and think about step by step, strategy by strategy, how you go about making better change. So I have a lot of people that say they're interested in speaking, right? Sometimes they have this hubris about them. Sometimes they have this ego. They're like, oh, Chris, I've been told many times that I'm a great speaker. I'm like, oh, great. And do you want to make this as a living? They're like, yes, I do. I'm like, well, so how many times have you been paid? And they're like, none. Well, clearly, you're doing something wrong. And there really is a right or wrong. The right thing to do is, after you give a speech, you say to them, oh, thanks for your comment, Chris. Do you know any events that hire speakers? And by just saying that one specific question, do you know any events that hire speakers, you're already qualifying a potential lead for you if you do want to be a professional speaker. If you want to get paid as a speaker, you have to start creating a system, scripts, whether you're on the phone, in person, or on email. And so that's what engineers at Google do. They create a system of things so that when you see things on the search engine, when you see things on Android, when you see things on Gmail, they do their best to codify a system. So in your case, especially if you're overly idealistic, especially if you're overly creative, you have to start thinking more like an engineer, because engineers look at the problem, look at what Elon Musk says, the first principles of physics, where you reverse engineer it. So in my case, like I said, with my speaking program, I'm reverse engineering literally the first step they need to do to the last step. So just because someone says they're a speaker, it doesn't mean much. I can say I'm a speaker, but I'm an international speaker. I'm also a best-selling author, but I'm also a homeless youth program pioneer. I'm also called the billionaire networker. And I use the billionaire networker because not because I'm like, oh, wow, he's a billionaire networker. Well, Inc. magazine referred that to me after writing this book, and it's about branding. If you don't stand out, the reason why so many speakers do not get paid is because all you say about yourself is you're a speaker, author, and coach. Big freaking deal. How many other people can say you're a speaker, author, and coach? But if you say reverse engineering it, well, how do you stand out? Well, if you say you're an international speaker, author, and coach, well, now you start standing out. But what if you say you're an international speaker, best-selling author, and executive coach? Now you start standing out even more, right? So the point is, if you start thinking like an engineer, you remove your emotions, because as soon as you interject your emotions, you can be angry, you can be depressed, you can be irritated. And so if you have any of those emotions, you can't look at the problem clearly. And if you can't look at the problem clearly, you can't offer the best solution. So the second step I'm sharing with you relative to Google and what I learned there is think like an engineer. And engineers remove their emotions and look only at the problem as what it is. They reverse engineer the problem like I did with my GPS program, the Gifted Professional Speaker Program, where we already have 27 clients. We have 27 entrepreneurs from 26 cities, 14 states and provinces, and 4 countries. So I created this program because I want to help people like yourself who have a message, who have a gift to share, whether you want to get more sales, referrals, clients, whether you want to find investors, whether you want to find more business partners, whether you have a nonprofit that you want to help out. One of our clients, one of what I call gifters in our GPS program, his name is Bernard Edwards. He was in the Air Force for 17 years, and he has a very strong passion to help veterans. So the point is, whatever message you want to share, whatever goal you want to do, whatever dream you want to have, if you become a speaker, it elevates your game. And the self-help space is a $10 billion space. The online trading space is $107 billion. So you're literally leaving millions on the table if you do not create online coaching programs. So my program, GPS, helps you become a speaker, get paid as a speaker, inspire the millions, and travel the world, but also helps you create online profitable programs. I had one client literally signed up within 2 days. He got back his investment and made a small profit. So the 2 steps, and I always repeat myself because based on research, we forget 50% of what we learn in 1 hour and 80% in 1 month. So the first 2 lessons I'm sharing with you about being like Google in 2017 is be more productive by removing all the things that annoy and irritate you, whether they're the thoughts in your head, the experiences you have. And with Google, they literally have haircut, masseuse, volleyball, food courts, food trucks, valet parking, free food, free drink. It's just crazy. So they're removing all these things that people might be annoyed about so they can focus on their job. Let me just give a shout out to the people that are watching. So Laquan, thanks so much for watching. Jorge, Kia, Nathan, Fatima, Nanir, Alaran, Nathan, Terry, thanks for watching, Terry. I will send you my email later on regarding my GPS program. If anyone else is interested in making money, 10 grand and higher for a speech, inspiring the masses and traveling more for free, just put in interested or just email me at chris@chrisifica.com. And Madeline, thanks for joining in. Reed, Barrett, I think I emailed you. Let me know if you're interested. I'm actually closing the enrollment for my GPS program for the next 5 days. We're not going to reopen it until next year because I'm flying to Australia soon, so I'm again winding down. I really encourage you to wind down so you can wind back up next year. Frank Parita, thanks so much for watching. Laura, Giselle, Dimitri, thanks so much for all the happy birthdays. Google won't hire me. Well, Google won't hire you. Well, think about why. Again, reverse engineer. Why won't Google hire you? I don't know if that's a joke or if you're being serious, but it's so easy to get
offended or go on the defensive when someone doesn't hire you or someone doesn't hire me, for instance, for my GPS program. So I'll ask them, hey, so what didn't you like about my pitch deck, or what didn't you like about my program? Some of them just frankly aren't ready for it. Some of them are just too scared. Most of the time, frankly, they just don't have balls. I just said it. All right. Oh, oops. Oh, well, I said balls. Whatever. Sherry, thanks so much for watching. Kathy Ho, what's up? Happy birthday. Sherry, thanks so much for sharing the knowledge. Tamika, thanks so much for watching. Dylan, thanks so much for watching. And Parita, interested. So again, I think, Frank, I sent you the email, but regardless, email me again. But I'm going through 5 things you can learn from Google. As I said to you before, I had one of the greatest honors in my life in going to Google. I'm probably going to be able to help some of my GPS clients potentially speak at Google too, because they have their own version of TED Talks, which TED Talks are one of the most prestigious conferences in the world, and talks at Google's are their own internal TED Talks where they've had Arianna Huffington, they've had Muhammad Ali, they've had Henry Kissinger, they've had Mikhail Gorbachev, they've had Ellen DeGeneres, they've had Will Smith, they've had all these amazing leaders in the past, and I've been honored to speak there as well yesterday. That'll be up in about a week. But the point I'm getting at is, the 5 things you're going to learn from Google. First one is be productive by removing all the unnecessary things in your life, even something as simple as like what you wear. Next one is be an engineer. Don't attach your emotions to when you're trying to solve problems. Reverse engineer the problem. If I want to create a program, an online training program to help you scale your business to be a speaker by getting more clients, referrals, and business partners and investors, or helping your charity, then it's about how do I reverse engineer the whole process. I spent 15 years as a speaker. I wish someone created this program for me, because if I were to be able to reverse engineer, I would have saved so much time, because the first book I wrote was a college success guide. I created all these speeches that didn't go anywhere. I didn't get hired very much, and I wish someone was like an engineer who helped me reverse engineer my process. The third thing I'm going to share is this, Alphabet. When I gave my speech, I pretty much talked about how do you catapult your career opportunities, the art and science of building successful relationships. And so I was like, hey, dude, if you want to knock on Sergey and Larry Page's door, and they're the founders of Google, and you say, dude, why did you have to change the name to Alphabet? So I actually asked, instead of assuming I know, I asked Elaine, my host, and she said, you know what? They went to someone like Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett, as many of you might know, is one of the most successful investors in the world. He's good buddies with Bill Gates. They've been good friends for a long time. And this is what powerful people do, especially billionaires do. They surround themselves with people they want to learn from, which most people don't do. They surround themselves with people they know already. It's comfortable, so therefore they don't learn and grow. So I want you to be uncomfortable. If any of you are interested in my GPS program, and you're scared, and you're uncomfortable, and you're fearful, good. That's a good sign. Because if you're not doing something you're excited about and fearful about, then you're not going in the right direction. If it's too easy for you to make a decision, if it's too easy for you, then you're going the wrong way. You want to be excited and fearful. Like, I'm going to Australia in a few weeks. I'm excited and fearful because I don't like being on a plane for 15 freaking hours on a freaking boat, a big flying metal bird in the air. It's not my thing. So make sure you learn from other people. And so the third point that I learned was this. Elaine, who's my host at Google yesterday, when I spoke there at Talks at Google, is a very prestigious speaking program there. She said the reason why they changed the name from Google to Alphabet is because they wanted to structure the company like Warren Buffett, a billionaire investor, does. Warren Buffett has a holding company. Warren Buffett has a holding company where in this umbrella of a company, they have multiple different businesses, and in those businesses, they have a few 100,000 employees. But his actual office in Omaha, Nebraska only has like 30 or 40 employees. So you have 30 or 40 employees, support staff, to support a lot of companies with hundreds of thousands of employees. And so what he did this for is that when you have an umbrella organization, you have different types of departments, he can literally track what's the revenue and the expenses. So when they had the Google structure, they weren't able to track it as much. So let's say they have Google X, and maybe they have Google cars, and maybe they have Google glasses. Now under the Alphabet umbrella, Google is just one specific division. Maybe Google X is another one. And so they rearrange this because they learn from a Warren Buffett. They start iterating. And this is why successful people like a Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, they iterate. For myself, the whole GPS, I had a networking program that did okay, but then I realized with the speaking program, I iterated. That was like my 5th digital product, and now it's like massively in demand. In the next few weeks and months and years, you're gonna see me scale this online training program where I'm going to train 1,000 entrepreneurs in the next 3 years to inspire 1 billion people. And then the first thought for you, for those of you who are on the cynical side, more negative side, is like, oh, well, Chris, you're so ambitious. I mean, look, If you don't have dreams that scare the crap out of you, those dreams aren't big enough. You want things that can actually inspire you. You want things that when you wake up in the morning, you're like, yeah, this is so fun. Because if it's just about a paycheck, paychecks aren't very inspiring. And trust me when I say it, I've met some of the most richest, most wealthiest people in the world, and many of them are some of the most boring people in the world because all they do is talk about their money and they flaunt that. They buy the nice cars, have 6,000 pairs of shoes. And I'm like, look, man, find a purpose, find a cause, find a meaning in your life because it's just about money. That's not very inspiring. So think of dreams that inspire you. Whether it's to bring your family on a vacation, whether it's to start your own company, whether it's to write your own book, whether it's to fall in love, whether it's to get married, whether it's to have kids, find dreams that inspire you. And of course, money is important. That's the driver, that's the gas in your car to get to your happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it definitely buys you the car, and your car, your Ducati, your yacht, your Lambo, whatever you want to drive. But the point is, make sure that you create a system where you're able to track. So in Alphabet's case, the third point I'm getting at is you want to structure your business, you want to structure your life so that you understand where are you spending your time and where is the output, what are the results, what are the rewards. So in my case, it just allows me to say, okay, if I spend 3 hours a day pitching various clients or I'm doing a lot of video messaging, does that help me my bottom line because I want to scale my online program to have 1,000 entrepreneurs in 3 years to inspire 1 billion people, right? So with Alphabet, they have an umbrella organization. So my umbrella organization is KGL Consulting and Publishing at different lines, right? So speaking is one revenue stream, online coaching is one revenue stream, private coaching is one revenue stream, consultant work is one revenue stream. So you want to just start understanding and defining where are your revenue streams coming and how can you start measuring these revenue streams as Google did relative to creating an umbrella organization called Alphabet. On the outside, it might seem like, oh, that's kind of weird. Why are you calling it Alphabet? But again, he learned that advice from Warren Buffett, who's a billionaire investor. So you want to learn from people that are doing things that you want to do. And don't be so concerned about judgment. If sometimes when I meet people, they're like, whoa, Chris, you refer yourself and compare yourself to Elon Musk. Yeah, so I do. You talk about Gandhi as if like he's a contemporary. Yeah, he is. And too many of us, we don't have value in ourselves. So then we put people on pedestals and then we wonder why we're so afraid when we meet people like that. But again, it's about building the skill set to do the things you're afraid of. If you're not doing things that you're, again, excited about and scares the crap out of you, you're not pushing yourself because that's the only time you learn. I remember I went on a date with one girl and it was the first and last date with this girl. We went ice skating and she was so proud. She had this big smile on her face. She's like, yeah, I've never fallen when I ice skated. And I'm like, first and last date. Sorry, she's beautiful, but first and last date because she doesn't push herself. She might be excited to ice skate, but she's not fearful because she's not going to fall ice skating. I'm sorry, but in life, and especially as an entrepreneur, you're going to fall a lot. So deal with it. Deal with that. So just to recap, first thing I learned from Google is productivity. You want to be more productive? Remove the unnecessary things in your life that distract you from the things that you want to do. I oftentimes plan out what I want to wear because I don't want to deal with thinking about what I want to wear because there's something called decision fatigue where you get fatigued by making too many decisions. Thanks for my joke, Laura. Next lesson is engineer. Be more like an engineer, meaning engineers at Google, they think at the problem, they look at the problem solely as what it is. They don't attach their emotions to the problem. They reverse engineer, just like with my GPS program. If I realistically want to help people be speakers, if I realistically want to help them create online coaching programs, then I have to reverse engineer and think about, okay, what did I need help with? I needed help with just first understanding what the market is and getting inspired by how big the market is. The market in the self-help space is $10 billion and $107 billion for the online training space. You are literally leaving millions of dollars on the table, so I'm creating a dream, an idea that, you know what? There's a lot of opportunities. There's opportunities for everyone, right? So I'm reverse engineering a program to know that if I started this way and had a coach, a mentor to help me define my message, to help me understand how to create a pitch deck, to help me understand how to pitch people, to help me understand how to create a speaking reel. A speaking reel for a speaker is like a resume for a job applicant. A speaking reel for a speaker is like a resume for a job applicant. A speaking reel, if you go to my YouTube, which I hope you subscribe because I only have about 200 subscribers. Those of you who subscribed recently, thank you so much. But a speaking reel essentially is a 2 or 3 minute video where it gives the potential client specific clips of you speaking. And they also have testimonials ideally, and if you've written books, you put that in. But again, if you don't have a speaking reel, it is not realistic for you to be a professional speaker. You might say you're a speaker and coach, but if you don't have a speaking reel, you're not being professional. And what I did with my GPS program, the Gifted Professional Speaker Program, is I reverse engineered it and I created specific step-by-step things to help my clients become professional speakers. In the first inaugural launch, 4 of my clients already got to speak at a Fortune 500 company. That wasn't by accident. It's because I reverse engineered it. And I realized that if you don't have a brand with associated names that you recognize, you won't be able to charge the price points. So if you want to charge $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, the brand has to match the price points, because if not, you're not going to be very successful. Okay, keep that in mind. So the third point I want to add is Alphabet, which is Google changed its name to Alphabet because they wanted to redesign their name, because according to Warren Buffett, who's a billionaire investor, they found that when you have an umbrella organization and you separate all the various companies, you're able to quantify, you're able to measure, you're able to calculate where the ROI is coming from, where the revenue is, where the expenses are. So it's much more tactical, specific, and strategic. Again, it goes back to engineering. It goes back to removing the emotions, seeing what people do, and just model what they do. Don't waste your time trying to be a speaker by just saying, oh, I know I can do it, Chris. It doesn't matter what you know you can do. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Just save your time and save your money and just invest in my program, because I wish someone created this thing for me way back when, because I invested 15 years to put into 5 modules, which are 5 modules in 32 videos, 150 pages, and I'm just so grateful that so many of my clients are already getting so many benefits, both monetarily and beyond that. So let me just give a quick shout out to people on the call. Michelle, thanks so much for watching. Laura, thanks so much for laughing for my jokes. I appreciate that. I gave a side note. I cracked some jokes at a speech last week, and I cracked the joke, and I was pretty much saying, yeah, next time you talk to someone and you say, yeah, I was watching this charismatic, handsome speaker named Christopher Kai, just kind of like being facetious, and no one laughed, but that's okay. I laughed at myself. That's important to laugh at yourself. So Dylan, so much for watching. Tori, thanks so much for watching. I sent you my GPS program. Let me know if you're interested. Laura, Frank, Tori, thank you all so much for watching. Please write in the comments if you have any questions. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy these Facebook Lives. I'll be doing a lot more, as well as offering webinars. Just as a recap, Inc. magazine has referred to me as the billionaire networker after writing this book, Big Game Hunting, Networking with Billionaires, Executives, and Celebrities, where it's not about so much the billionaire part or the networking, it's all about communication and connections. How do you build relationships to change your life? The best way to change your life is to change your relationships. So remember that. The best way to change your life is to change your relationships. So today, as I said, my birthday's in 2 days. I always look back on the last year, and the last 3 weeks of every year. I've done this for over 10 years. I always look back at my year and look at what did I do well, what did I not do so well, and what do I want to do better for 2017. And I thought I'd share with you where Google was an inspiring experience. I went and spoke there at their talks at Google. I'll be putting that video out soon. But I'm going to share 5 things with you, because again, if you're struggling right now financially, if you're struggling with paying rent, if you're not in the relationship you want, if you're bored with life, if you're disinterested, if according to a Gallup poll, 87% of people are not liking their jobs, don't like their jobs, are disinterested in a job, 87%. 71%, according to a Newsweek article, are either fat, overweight, or obese. Excuse me, I said fat. Oops, oh well, I messed up. Overweight or obese. Whatever. Anyway, this is what happens when you do live, okay? So the 3 points are: be more productive by removing the unnecessary things. Be an engineer where you remove the emotions and focus only on the problem at hand and what are the solutions. And again, if you're more emotionally driven, find people that are more logically driven. Just be honest with yourself. If you're the kind of person that gets road rage when you're traffic, you're probably more on the emotional side. Find someone that's just real rational and logical. Alphabet. The reason why Google changed their name to Alphabet, they went to Warren Buffett, who's a billionaire investor, one of the most successful people in the world, and they saw how they structured it. So with you, structure your life so that your time, your productivity, and your engineering prowess is based on what drives revenue or drives the most happiness to your life. I love how when sometimes I put comments about how doing what you love won't make you rich, but you still need to do the work and have competencies. And sometimes people get sensitive. It's like, whoa, being rich is not that important. I'm like, yeah. The people that usually say, money is important are usually people that already have money, or they're just delusional, because I meet all these wealthy people And they're like, yeah, money's not important, Chris. I'm like, oh yeah, money's not that important, but yet you live in a $3 million house, you have a really hot girlfriend that probably doesn't like you because of your personality, and you have another place in Miami. And I meet people all the time. I'm not saying money is the most important thing, but money is important, so get over yourself, right? So sometimes and then people that are really wealthy, they grow up with money. And this one guy, he's actually the son of one of the most successful rock stars in the world, and he has such a distaste in his mouth when someone said about money. And what does he know about lack of money? I teach homeless kids every week. I know how important money is, so that's a foundation. And like Warren Buffett says, most people don't think about money in business until you don't have it, and then cash is like air. If you don't have cash in a company, you don't have a company, and therefore you're suffocating. So for you, always do your best to find revenue streams, because to be honest, in my case, I didn't think that way. I bought my first apartment when I was 24 in a luxury high-rise in New York City, and I was so arrogant and cocky at the time. I'm like, yeah, I could just make $10,000-$20,000. I could have made a lot more. That would have been a much better foundation for me, but I didn't. So I was being cocky and arrogant. So make sure you have a strong financial foundation, because it's important. Which is why Google does so well, because the engineers, they know how to produce for revenue. They know how to reverse engineer. They know how to structure a company relative to money. So for those people that don't want to make money, then fine, don't listen to this call because, oops, I'm running out of batteries. But wow, we've already been on for 45 minutes. But I'm going to go over the last 2 points. The last 2 points are, I actually put up these books on my slideshow yesterday. How Google Works by Eric Schmidt, who's the executive chairman of Google, and Sprint, who are people that have worked at Google Ventures. And what's funny is they work at Google, and I put up a slide of 3 books, and I say, hey, who's read these books? 2 hands went up. And these are books about them and how they work. So one of the points that Eric Schmidt often talks about is they have a 70-20-10 rule where 70% of the time they focus on core revenue stream things, 20% is non-core, and 10% do whatever they want. So in your case, make sure if you're like poor and broke and always struggling financially, well, if you have 10 hours in the day and you're working, well, how many of those hours are spent on revenue generating activities? If you're always on Facebook and Instagram and that's not going anywhere from a revenue stream, you're spending your time on the wrong things, right? So just be very objective, be very honest, be very critical, because if you want to be more productive, you can always do more good in the world. Okay, so like if you want to make more money, focus on the Google way. 70% of your time is spent on revenue generating activities. So in my case, I am seeing if I'm always looking for more clients for my GPS program because I get to scale, but I get to make more of a difference and it's exciting. So in your case, 70% of your time. If every day you're not spending 70% of your time on revenue generating activities, why are you not? And then 20% non-revenue, 10% do whatever you want. But just make sure you start codifying a system, because the reason why people and companies that are most successful succeed, they have systems. They're not just basing on their mood. All of our moods change, but systems don't change if they're good systems. The last thing I'm going to add is, and this is another reason why most people don't succeed in life. Here's a book called Sprint. If you want to learn how to be better, do better, be more healthy, make more money, just start reading more. I mean, Warren Buffett once said, the more you learn, the more you earn. Bill Gates was asked how much time he spends reading. He spends a lot of hours reading. When people ask Elon Musk, who started PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, and they ask Elon, how did you become a rocket scientist? And he's like, I read about it. And again, people are like, whoa, that's crazy. I can't do that. No, you can do that. Stop making excuses. And so it's really about rapid prototyping. Essentially means this. They do a 5-day system where they say, on Monday, we're going to define a problem. On Tuesday, we're going to break off into our own separate corners and decide individually how to come up with the problem and the solutions, or what problem we want to solve. Wednesday, we come back together and decide on what to do with the problem. Thursday, they test. Friday, they launch. So let me give you a specific example from this book, right? So Monday, they decide there's a company called Savioke. It's a company up in the Bay Area where they make robots, where the robots offer certain things to hotel guests. So in this case, the robot wanted to offer a toothbrush. So first the problem was defining the problem and what they want to solve, because you have to be specific, right? So their team comes together on Monday. They say, okay, for Savioke, we want to solve the problem of how the hotel guest will work or respond to this robot with a toothbrush. Will they get freaked out? Will they be amused? Will they be scared? Will they like this experience? So then they have to decide, okay, what's the most important problem? Is it when the robot is going along in the hallway? Is it the robot in the lobby area? Will the robot be the first interaction between the hotel guest at the door of the hotel room and the robot? So they decided on Monday the problem they want to solve is the immediate interaction the robot has with a toothbrush and when they see the hotel guest at the door. So again, step one, sprint. Just find the problem. They know what they want to solve. Second day, they go off on their own because they found that when they do these brainstorming sessions, it wasn't as helpful. And this is, again, based on 100 plus different projects in large and small companies, in VC firms and larger companies. So day two was they're going to break off on their own, have their most unique ideas on their own. Day three, they come back together and they decide, okay, we're going to have this robot. It's not going to be crazy because everyone has an image of what a robot is. This robot looks more of like a pear-shaped thing with one just computer screen. And then Thursday, they're going to test it. And then Friday, they had the customers actually meet this robot, and it ended up that it turned out really well. Now, what do most people do in businesses, and what do most people do in life? They pontificate, they wonder, they question, like even with my program, I ask people, so how long have you wanted to be a speaker? And some say, oh, I've been thinking about this for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Well, sorry, they're going to keep thinking about that because they're not sprinting toward their goals and their dreams. I have people that I used to help with their books. Because I self-published this book. This is my fifth book I wrote, third book I published, but I've helped over 20 clients with their books. And I meet people all the time. I ask them, how long have they been thinking about that book? Oh, 5 years, 10 years, my whole life. You need to start hanging out with people that are what I call action heroes. Action heroes are people that are doing things and they're taking action, because if you cannot move away from where you are now, if you're not surrounding yourself with people that are taking action, so keep that in mind, because you're not going to get very far in your life if you're thinking about things. Thinking is the first thought, is the first step. But if you're not taking action, and more importantly, if you're not finding mentors and coaches, like in my program GPS, it's not realistic. So just try not to be so in your own world. Look at my book, Big Game Hunting. Look at these books like Sprint, because in 5 days, you already know. So let me give you a very specific example. Jesse Lauder, he is a realtor in Edmonton, Alberta. He's one of our gifters in my GPS program. He wants to create an online coaching business. What do? I reverse engineer his problem. I say first, in his case, he doesn't know the process and the step-by-step process. So I said, first of all, to validate his worth, I say, hey, Jesse, have you made 100 grand within 3 months in real estate? He said, yes. Hey, Jesse, did you make over $1 million over the last 3 years? He said, yes. Well, do people want to be more entrepreneurial and make millions of dollars? He says, yes. I'm like, okay, well, now you know your reason why. You're very passionate about helping people. So I said, don't bother wasting your time creating a program if people don't want to buy it. Just create a flyer, put it on Facebook, and say, type interested in the comments. Within 2 days, he gets 2 people interested and closes his first client in 2 days. Now that's a perfect example of rapid prototyping, or in this case, it's called sprint. They took 5 days, Jesse took 2 days. In your case, again, I hate to be so blunt, but get off your ass and start doing things. The most of the time when I see people that aren't doing what they want to do, aren't living their dreams, aren't in the relationship they want to be in, aren't going traveling, they're like, oh, but I don't have money, Chris. And I'm like, stop whining about it. Think about, like let's say I'm in Skid Row, right? I have kids there. They're 15 years old. I'm like, oh, I don't like the area. Well, do you have $1.25? They have a bus pass. Then get on that bus, get the hell out of this worst part of town, and go to Beverly Hills, go to Santa Monica, and they're 15 years old. So it doesn't matter where you are. Just make sure you do something now and today and surround yourself with people, which is why this GPS community that I have on Facebook, we have a private group where once you've invested in my program, they have literally contacts now in 11 states, 3 provinces, and 4 countries. And we have people like Shazad, who's in Sweden, and she's connecting with my client, Tammy, in Texas, but then Tammy's daughter is in Australia, and she's already connected her daughter in Australia to my client in Sweden, and it's just so exciting. It's so fun and exciting. So just keep in mind that you really want to branch out. So I'm just going to recap because I can't believe I've already spoken for almost an hour. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So Tori says hard and easy or easy hard. Work hard now for an easy life later, or take the easy route for a hard life later. No, absolutely not. I don't agree with that, Tori. It's more about, there's 3 types of work. There's work hard, work smart, and work with heart. So work hard is putting the hours in. So of course, I'm launching a new program. I have to put a lot more hours in now, which is why some of my acquaintances or friends, they're like, well, Chris, why do you always text me last minute? I'm like, because I'm focused on my priorities of my business. My next 3 years will define my next 30 years. And so if you're not an entrepreneur, you don't understand that, right? So working hard is putting the hours in. But just because you put the hours in doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Working smart is, what am I doing with my hours? Going back to the Google way of doing things, 70, 20, 10. Am I spending 70% of my time scaling my business, getting more clients, making it more improving? And if I'm not, I got to do better. That's working smart. And lastly, working with heart. One of the best compliments that I'm getting is that a lot of people know that I'm very blunt and straightforward, so I have a lot of heart. And Bernard Edwards, who's in Oahu, he said that he feels like he's found a home with the GPS program. He feels like he's found a home because I want to know that I'm not perfect, I have many shortcomings, but there's one thing that you can never doubt, which is my intention to serve is clear, and my ability to articulate is crystal clear. And you might not like how I articulate, but if you want blunt truth and you want to improve, that's how you're going to love my program. I've had the best teachers I've had were the ones that were honest. They were more engineers. I had a piano teacher one time named Kevin King, bless his heart. He went to MI, he was MI guy. And I played piano because at one point I was a singer-songwriter. And so I was playing the piano. He's like, Chris, you're so formulaic with your chords. They're boring. You're not moving. You're not grooving. You're pressing on the pedal too much. And I could have took that as like, oh my gosh, I could have got defensive. But him, like Google, was objective, reverse engineered, and I became a better piano player. Another example is I used to take voice lessons. A guy named Clark Harris. If you want to take voice lessons in LA, Clark Harris, same thing. I say, Clark, I played a song for him on the piano, and I said, what'd you think, Clark? And Clark's like, if you were to have a 2-hour concert, I'd be falling asleep by the end of it. Now, granted, objectively, he was laughing at my song, laughing at me, and saying I sucked. But when I stepped back and I looked at the facts was that I was a very beginning songwriter. I didn't play well. What I wanted to do, or what I should say, my ego would have preferred him to say, oh, that's a very good song, Chris. But instead, he said, no, you sucked. Did I want to hear that? No. But like a surgeon who cuts through all the unnecessary things, you need people to cut through your life and all the unnecessary things. Now, is it easy? No. But is it necessary? Yes, if you want to live the good life. All the people you see in life, you look and love them or hate them, but the ones that are most successful, they work hard. So Tori, it's not just about working hard for your whole life. It's about working strategic and smart, which is why I gave you 5 lessons. Most importantly, just get it done. Get it done. Don't think about it too much. If any of you are on this Facebook Live and you want to be a speaker, the only reason why you're hesitating with my GPS program is either I'm not communicating my benefits to you, or you're not reaching out to my clients who are getting major benefits, but it's about knowing that if you want to do good in the world, you have to be really excited, and it has to scare the crap out of you, because if you're not doing those 2 things, don't even bother doing it, okay? So I'm just going to give a shout out to all the people that have been on this call. It's been almost an hour. So Lohan, Jorge, Kian, Nathan, Fatima, my battery is dying. Nanar, what's up from Cyprus? Malaran, Nathan, Terry, Madeline, Reed, Laura, Frank, Giselle, Dimitri, all these, Sophia, Shiri, Kathy, Brian, Tamika, thank you so much, Dylan. Thank you so much, Tori. Thanks so much, Laura, for laughing at my jokes. Nicole Elizabeth. Paul Horn is a lawyer who helps realtors with their stuff. Reach out to him. Helen, thanks so much. So again, Joanne, Mary Grace, what's up, Michigan? And so thank you so much for tuning in. My battery is dying. As I said, to just recap, 2 days from now is my birthday, and every year for over 10 years now, I look back at my past year. I look at things that I've done well, what I didn't do so well, and what I want to do better. So this Facebook Live was all about 5 things I learned from Google. The 5 things are: be more productive by removing the things that are not helpful for you to be productive. Be more like an engineer. Remove your emotions. Look at the problem at what it is. Alphabet, create a structure for yourself where you start defining where the revenue is coming in, where it's going out. 70-20-10 rule, focus on 70% of your time on revenue generating things, so what's most important to you, 20% on non-revenue, and 10% doing whatever you want. And lastly, 5, which is the most important thing, is just get off your ass and start doing things, sprint toward your goal, and start experimenting quicker, faster, and better. Because if you don't do that, a week will go by, a month will go by, a year will go by, and then a year from now, you'll be looking back and it's like, yeah, I remember what Chris was saying on December 8th and about like rapid prototyping and about Google, and I'm still at the same place. or I'm still in the same relationships, or I'm still in the same deadbeat job, or I still have the same deadbeat marriage, or I still have the same deadbeat boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't say that these things are easy, but if you don't make those decisions, the best way to do is start focusing on the people that you want to be like. If you want to be healthier, well, hang out with people that are healthier. Don't hang out with people that are eating donuts and getting milkshakes and going to McDonald's and eating burgers all the time. You have to be honest with yourself, reverse engineer. If what you're doing now is not working, you have to find people that are doing things that are working. My GPS program, it's working. I'm so grateful. My clients are having a great time, but I want you part of my program too because I want to help you scale your business. I want to help you get more clients, referrals. I want to help you have a better life. We're going to build this great community. We're going to inspire 1 billion people within 3 years with 1,000 entrepreneurs. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great week. Please, please, please look back on your year. Reflect. What did you do well? What did you not do so well? And what do you want to do better? Thank you so much. If you're interested in my GPS program, type in the comments interested, and I'm happy to send some information to you. Bye, everyone.